Everybody, welcome to another dietitian talk. My name is James Marin, Integrative Registered Dietitian, Environmental Nutritionist.
I'm Deli Marin, Integrative Registered Dietitian Nutritionist. So you get just a special Q&A with just James and I today. Our other amazing dietitians all were either seeing patients, working on furthering their knowledge in their PhD programs, or just working on being better dietitians. So it's James and I today, but we're excited to talk about this topic. I feel like James and I are the ones who have had a lot of good experience with it. And so we're excited to share some of that with you.
Yes. So the topic today, we're going to be talking about supplements, all right? Which supplements do you really need? Which supplements are beneficial, and just answering your questions. So if you have a question, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, put your question in there. We'll see it pop up. We would love to answer your questions, okay? And with that, again, just so you know, we do have a private practice. We do have dietitians. We see patients on a daily basis. I should say Dahlia and our other dietitians do. And we got a lot of questions about supplements, right?
And as registered dietitians, we are qualified to help patients assess which supplements are appropriate for them, which ones are not. It's certainly in our scope of practice. And sometimes we as dietitians are some of the only providers who are really thoroughly assessing, okay, tell me, what are you eating? But also, what supplements are you taking? And what medications are you taking? How are these interacting? And so it seems like just another layer of safety, because a lot of times physicians might not have the time to go into that unless they're integrative, or unless they're in a more of a concierge or a boutique setting and they have that additional time, which I think is so wonderful that more and more physicians are having that time now to do that. But if they're not, and it's kind of just a quickie, right, a 10-15 minute video or visit, your physician likely isn't going into that with you. The pharmacist is also just another safety net, but oftentimes pharmacists are checking just medication to medication interactions that's coming through their pharmacy. And I do have some patients who say, I get some of my medications from just my regular neighborhood pharmacy, and then I get other medications from a compounding pharmacy. So sometimes even those, they don't communicate with one another. And so there could be medication to medication interaction there. And then, you know, we do have situations like when a patient sees us as a dietitian where we're asking, what supplements are you taking? Who recommended this to you? Your friend down the street recommended this to you. You're taking this medication. I actually think this might be interacting. So as dietitians, it's absolutely in our scope. And I think it's really important for us as dietitians to be asking people, what are you taking? What should you not be taking? What do you need to stop taking? What do we want to add if there's anything to add? So we're excited to get into this topic today with all of you, because supplements are a multi-billion dollar industry.
Oh, yeah.
They're one of the most lucrative industries in the United States. We all have that quick fix mentality. And so supplements are a huge part of that. So we know that this is a big topic for a lot of you.
Yes. And I want to start with questions from our paid group. So we do have a Good Gut membership group, and we have some questions from there. So I want to start with those. We have one of the first questions come in. Can you please explain supplement strategy pre-workout, during, and after workout? I would like to get your view for an hour strength training and long cycling. This is a long question.
Yes, let's break it apart.
Okay, so let's start with the first part. Can you please explain supplement strategy pre-workout, during, and after workout recovery? She mentioned.
So we'll jump into it and we'll answer some of these questions for the get-go. So with supplements, I think a big part of it, like I said, is the marketing oftentimes behind the supplements. So you do want to also assess, do I need a pre-workout? Yes. What is my goal in the gym? You know, who is telling me that I need to be taking a pre-workout? I am not saying that a pre-workout is inappropriate for everybody. If you are an athlete, or if you're really, really, really doing powerlifting, or really trying to make big gains in the gym, maybe something like a pre-workout is going to be helpful for you. But if you're just someone who's trying to tone up, or trying to change body composition. If you exercise just because it helps you stay mentally fit, which is so important for all of us, do you need to be taking a pre-workout? Do you want all that caffeine and stimulant coursing through your veins? So I think for me, before I answer that question, I encourage people to ask themselves, why do you feel like you need to take a pre-workout? Do you feel that without a pre-workout, you're not making progress in the gym? Or if you reflect back, are you actually making progress in the gym without a pre-workout? Can you continue without a pre-workout?
And with that, in addition to that, I mean, a lot of people use pre-workouts as a stimulant, right? If you're tired. And what we try to really help our patients in our community understand is really taking that integrative approach, is looking deeper and going, if you are tired, if you're really struggling to get out of bed or go work out, like, are you looking at your foundation and maintaining your foundation, right? Of your sleep and your eating and your hydration and your mental health, because that foundation will help with your just natural energy levels. And so there are some cleaner pre-workouts out there, I will say, and they kind of bank on the fact that we add beets, or we're adding a lot of plant ingredients or certain ingredients that stimulate and have a certain effect on the body. One of the more popular one, like I mentioned, is beets, or like a beet powder. And that's because beets and watermelon and some other key phytonutrients in these plants will help with nitric oxide. And so with that, that is basically saying it's going to help with the elasticity of your circulatory system. And yes, you do want that in a workout, right? You want to be pumping blood thoroughly. You want to be pumping blood in a healthy way. You want to have that blood because that is your oxygen, that is your nutrition. It's very, very important. So with that, I mean, there are some pre-workouts that can be beneficial, but it goes back to that kind of that what Dalia was mentioning, and that foundation, that integrative approach, and going like, am I eating beets? Am I eating other fruits and vegetables, that are beneficial and important? And so it's great to say, you know what, my elasticity and the health of my circulatory system will be there if I'm maintaining and helping with that foundation. So yeah, that'd be great.
And, again, before we even jump into more of these questions, I think it's so important, like I said, to assess, do you need some of these supplements? Are you over supplementing yourself? Are you expecting to out supplement a habit? Like if you're recognizing, I'm only sleeping 4 hours, but then I'm expecting myself to be a beast in the gym, so I just need a good pre-workout. You want to evaluate that. You want to ask yourself, how can I just get more sleep? Is that going to improve my athletic performance? So we always, always, always advocate hugely for not trying to think that these supplements are a replacement, or they would be called that, right? They would be called sleep replacements or food replacements or whatever it is. These are not meant to be utilized that way. So you really do want to step back, ask yourself, am I trying to utilize something in this way? Is it a complement to my already healthy lifestyle, or am I trying to use it as a replacement? Ask yourself, be very honest with yourself, because, I do use supplements in my practice. If you're one of my patients, maybe I've consulted with you on the supplements you're taking, what you should add, what you should take away. So I'm not in the camp of supplements are crap, right? I feel like there's such a stigma around supplements, and there's the camp of supplements are always bad. You shouldn't take any supplements. You can get everything you need and more out of whole food. Or people who are selling supplements just want to make money, and that's the only reason they're ever recommending supplements to you. And then there's the people who, again, they're using them as just take supplements. Why would you try to even change your lifestyle at all when there's a supplement for that? So I think as a dietitian, it's been so important to me to really understand, one, where both camps are coming from, and then where we can meet in the middle. I try to be that middle ground for everyone. So I've really been diligent about educating myself, especially when I had the opportunity to work in a functional medicine practice where I quite literally was being asked to sell a certain amount of supplements every month. I was given a quota that I was supposed to hit for my supplement sales for the month. And I would see patients who were coming in for this functional medicine care who had a bag full of supplements, and they would I would ask them, tell me honestly, do you feel like you're taking so many supplements it's affecting your appetite? And they would often say yes. You know what? I didn't think of that, but I'm drinking gallons of water every day to take my supplements, and I'm just not even as hungry for food because I'm taking so many supplements. So I've had that opportunity to see what I perceive as the negative side to supplementing, over supplementing, where again, it's replacing, it's no longer a supplement. But I've also been in the space where I've gotten to do a lot of continuing education on how they're appropriate, when they're appropriate, and have personally utilized them, one for myself, but also read the evidence so I can use them for patients, especially sometimes my SIBO patients. So if we're recognizing, you know what, you would actually do really well with bismuth to help reduce some of that sulfury gas, or molybdenum to help with your sulfury gas. You have told me you have a genetic mutation, you have MTHFR, and your B12 and your B1 and your B levels on your blood work are so low, you would benefit from taking a B complex. You are plant-based and you are not including sufficient amounts of omega-3s in your diet, or even if you are, there's poor conversion. You're plant-based, you should be taking an algae omega, vitamin D, B12 every day. So I think it's been so important for me personally as a practitioner to really, really do my due diligence and understand more about supplements, because it is such a hot button topic. It really gets people going. And so I think it's so important to try to understand both sides and to have that education. So I always like to start with just giving that background information and giving that, you really, I think, kind of approaching it from that way, so we can understand, when are they warranted? When should we take supplements? When should we not? How do we know if they're quality supplements? So I think that that's so important to discuss. So, as we know, the FDA doesn't necessarily test every supplement. In general, they're the overseeing body. So if there's a supplement that's causing damage or harm to people, the FDA is responsible for interjecting in that scenario. But they don't they don't test every supplement that gets sold. There's really not a lot of supervision when it comes to supplements. So what I usually recommend is go with companies who are doing third-party testing. And especially with reputable third-party tests. There are different third-party tests. I think all of them can be great, especially if they're providing certificates of analysis. But a lot of the most popular third-party testing companies are NSF, USP, or Consumer Labs. So you might see these logos on some of the supplements that you're purchasing. There are other third-party testing companies, certainly, that are available on there. So if you're buying a supplement, or if you're considering buying a supplement, I think it's important for you to look on the website and see, is there anywhere on this website that shows that I can get a certificate of analysis or certificate of purity? It might be listed on the website of third-party test results. But that is something to either ask your practitioner who's recommending it. So I love when my patients ask me this question, because I ask this question when I'm taking anything. But you as a consumer, if you're like, I'm listening to a podcast and they're talking about this supplement, curious to look into it, go on their website, see if there is any third-party testing, and see if there's anywhere where you can verify, is this a supplement that's been tested for several things? So you want to see, are they testing for potency, right? So a good indication that it's being tested for potency outside of that third-party testing label is that there's an expiration date. These things have a shelf life. They have a half-life. So with different supplements, you want to see, are they testing for potency? How long can they guarantee that potency? If they're telling me, I'm going to give you 2.4 micrograms of B12, how long can you guarantee that that's being effective for, right? So good supplements should usually have an expiration date on them, or they have a manufactured date, and they'll be able to say this is good for 180 days post-manufacture. So that's a good sign. They should be testing for things like heavy metals, right? Because we do know supplements are widely unregulated. I could go in my backyard and put dirt in capsules and say, these are mineral capsules. I'm not testing my soil. I don't know if my dog peed in the soil.
Our soil's really good. I garden back there and it's excellent soil.
Not everyone is James. But, because we know that could happen, you do want to see that they're testing for things like heavy metals or pesticides, because these are concentrated. So again, if you're taking a concentrated form of something, a supplement, you're getting possibly concentrated amounts of pesticides on it as well. And are there pathogens? Is there anything that will affect your gut? Is there E. coli in it? Is there a large amount of yeast in it? Is there mold in the supplement? These are really important things to be asking before you're even taking something and risking that happening. So outside of knowing whether it's individually acceptable for you, it's important for the company to know, is this even safe for consumption for anybody, let alone you, based on your genetics, your medications, and your diet and your other supplements that you're taking. So I think that's so important for people to be evaluating and thinking about.
Yes.
Because like I said, the supplement industry is a big one. It's over $150 billion industry just last year. So there's a lot of vested interest in this, but there are also companies and, practitioners who see the value in them and see, okay, if we can do it right, let's educate people on how to know when a supplement is best for you and when it's not. So I think that's important. And, again, I think speaking from a provider standpoint, if a provider or an influencer or whoever, a neighbor, is recommending a supplement to you, you do want to question their motives on it, right? You want to ask, why are you recommending this to me, right? If it's your neighbor who's part of an MLM and they're going to make a commission off of selling you the supplement, you want to ask them, do you have like a vested interest in this? Ask your practitioners, are you making any money off of selling this to me or recommending this to me? Is that why you're recommending this to me? And sometimes it could be yes, and sometimes it could be no. It doesn't mean that they're only recommending it to you because they're going to make money off of it, but it's important to disclose that information, I think.
Totally.
You want to ask, personally for me, if you're recommending this to me, are there side effects? Again, if it's your neighbor and they can't answer that for you, before buying it, you should probably consult with someone who can tell you if there are any side effects to taking it. I like to use different databases to check for any drug nutrient interactions or nutrient interactions, because even too much ginger for the wrong person, if they're taking certain medications, that could possibly be harmful. So I like to use different databases to check for some of those interactions, especially when I know my patients are on medications that are vital to their everyday living, because that's so important. Just like with certain medications, right? They'll tell you when you go to the pharmacy, take this on an empty stomach. Don't have calcium with this within 3 hours. Don't make sure you're not having iron within a few hours. Some supplements can have the same effect. They can have binding effects or counteractive effects to some of your medications, some of your foods, some of your other supplements. So if someone's recommending something for you, hopefully they're able to answer some of those questions. And if they can't, go to someone who can before you just decide to start taking some of these things.
Wonderful. I think that's great context, great introduction for sure to supplements. Okay, perfect. So I think that's a wonderful introduction. And just to give added context, and then we'll go into questions, I think, because I see some questions coming in and more coming in. With that, I think, again, the naysayers like Dahlia mentioned that are like, no, don't take supplements or supplements are not good. I think, again, context matters. And overall, the FDA is also involved in mass supplementation. It's something you have to remember, that there is great research with supplements being very useful, especially in populations or a patient who is deficient, and we know is deficient in certain vitamins, minerals, or other nutrients. Supplementation can be extremely life-saving, so much so, and I like to give this context to people who are anti-supplement, which is our own government has a mass supplementation program, and we call it fortification, right? So the FDA is involved in fortifying our foods. They fortify dairy, they fortify cereal and other grains. We fortify baby foods, and we fortify, various other foods. So it's fortified with B vitamins, it's fortified with vitamin D, fortified with calcium, because we know these are extremely beneficial nutrients. And studies have shown in those who are deficient, supplementation is very, very helpful. So for those who just want to never take supplements, it's like, well, do you eat fortified foods? Because that's supplements, right? And really, when you get to a different level of consciousness or understanding, we even recommend our patients in our population to supplement themselves, right? Because a lot of times the companies, or depending on which company you're going with, they're not giving you the best quality supplement, right? They're not giving you all the various types of methylcobalamin, and it's methylated, and it's lipophilic, or with the fat soluble supplements, it's lipophilic and it's third party tested. I guarantee the average cereal company is not giving you this high quality third party tested supplement. They're going with a very cheap, general, readily available supplement that they can fortify the cereal with, right? So again, not bagging on cereals, but it's understanding food companies have a bottom line to protect, and they want to make some revenue, right? So a lot of times they're not going to put that time and attention into what they're fortifying the cereal with. So that comes to you all, and we want to kind of put that out there.
And so that could be also asking, am I having regular checks of some of these things, right? Are my providers checking my vitamin D levels every year? What about my B vitamin levels? Are they doing an omega check? You guys can have that done through Quest or LabCorp or standard labs that are out there. Your providers can check levels of ALA, EPA, DHA, omega-3, omega-6 in your blood if you did really want to know. And that test is not very expensive. It's even if you're paying out of pocket for it, it's like a $50 test, $40 test. That can help you understand, are these supplements working for me? Am I absorbing from my food? If I'm relying on food only, where am I right now? Because I do see patients who also say, I should be getting everything that I need from food, so I don't want to take anything, but then they're also not getting blood work done. So you can't rely on that if you're not double checking, because again, what if you have a genetic mutation and you don't activate B vitamins? So if you're not taking methylfolate or methylcobalamin or B12, maybe you're not actually absorbing that B12 that you're taking in your nutritional yeast in your cereal and whatever else. So it's really important to check. You have these resources available, so check if they're working for you. I'm taking this every day, or I'm choosing not to take it. Is it benefiting me to take it, or is it not benefiting me to stop taking it? So I think having blood work done every 6 months at least when you're taking something, 3 months optimally, that can help give you an idea of, is this working for me or is it not working for me at this time?
How are you feeling? You want to get into some questions?
Yeah, I think let's get into some of these questions. So going back to the pre-workout, like James said, I think, things that help with energy. So it could be something that has caffeine in it. It doesn't need to be a supplement, you guys. You could always just drink coffee. You could drink matcha. You could drink tea before your workout. See if that's enough of a pre-workout for you to give you that energy to really push through your workout. If you want something more, there are good options out there for pre-workout. But again, because it's concentrated, take a good quality supplement because it's in a concentrated form. So it should have something with caffeine in it. And again, something to help with that vasodilation and that blood flow. So whether that's beets or whether that's another type of antioxidant, hopefully that's what you're seeing in something like a pre-workout.
And then to go on with during the workout, really, you have to understand working out is stressful. So when you are in a stressful state, do you want to eat like a sandwich? Do you feel like sitting down to a meal when you're being chased by a dog? Or when you got that stressful phone call from your boss at work, do you feel like, ooh, I'm so hungry? So really, exercise, eating while exercise is really something that's perpetuated by the bodybuilder community. They're in a very much of a state of wanting to be anabolic constantly, right? So it's this idea of building, right? Anabolic means constantly building. So they're in such a, oh my gosh, bodybuilders, depending if we're talking about competition level, they are working out at least 3 times a day in some cases, especially when they're preparing for a competition, and they are just using and burning, I don't want to say burning, using and utilizing nutrients so rapidly that they sometimes need to eat during workouts or will drink a substance during workouts. But the average person does not. I mean, overall, I could safely say, based on the research, the average person does not need to do this, and it's actually counterintuitive to your gut health. Your gut does not want to be digesting, especially if it's protein, anything during a workout. Again, ultra marathon runners, marathoners, bodybuilders, again, a different elite class of athletes, different, but for the average person, no. A post-workout is a meal. Are you going to add something?
So we were at the gym
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, and
guys, is this a thing? Let us know if this is a thing.
have you ever seen this? This guy had a carton of egg whites with him, and he was drinking raw egg whites during his workout, and it was
rough to see, because it wasn't even like
it was something out of a horror movie.
It was like the, not to bag on it,
big box store brand.
Yeah, it was just like a general big box store brand carton of egg whites, and he was just drinking it during the workout. And this guy was not, I mean, not to bag on the guy, he wasn't an elite athlete, or at least that I could tell. He was just your average run-of-the-mill guy, and he was drinking egg whites during his workout. So if you see that, let me know. I've never seen that before, and I've been working out for a long time. I've never seen that before. So if this is becoming a thing, let us know. We need to kind of dispel some of these myths and just kind of give some context to this. But
yeah, if you're going in, you're doing like a 1-hour workout, you probably don't need to be having any calories at that time. If it's something where you are training for endurance workouts, right? You're marathon running, you're swimming, you're biking, and you're going to be working out for possibly several hours at a time, you might possibly consider replacing some of those carbohydrates, especially during your workout. So I know for some of my endurance athletes, we might talk about, okay, after a certain period of time, it's usually about 90 minutes in. There's anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes that's recommended. But usually you're going to want to replete and replace carbohydrates at that time. So again, if you're running for hours, over an hour, if you're riding your bike over an hour, you're swimming over an hour, you probably want to replete some of those carbohydrates, right? You've probably depleted your stores of glucose, of glycogen from your brain, your muscles. So you're going to fatigue. That's where athletes talk about hitting a wall in endurance workouts. At that point, yes, talk to your dietitian, talk to your strength coach, or, do your research, where at about 60 minutes, you do want to start supplementing with some of those carbohydrates and some electrolytes as well. If you're getting really sweaty during your runs, it's hot outside right now. You might want to do that if you're an endurance athlete, or if you're just training really hard in the gym. You can utilize electrolytes while you are working out. I would recommend repleting them afterwards and just really, really having that hydration before your workout and making sure that you're well hydrated before. I recommend just drinking water during your workout if possible. But that's my recommendation for during a workout, unless, like we said, you're an endurance athlete or you're an elite athlete and you really, really are bulking. And then, post-workout, generally, you're going to want to replete carbohydrates and protein within about a 30 to 60 minute window. Studies do show that 30 to 60 minutes post-workout, you do want to be repleting some of that protein, right? You broke down some of your muscle. You do want to replace some of those amino acids or some of those protein building blocks so you can build back what you broke down in a stronger way. So, there has been really, really solid data on things like creatine and branched chain amino acids post-workout. So maybe you're just having protein, which contains, some of those branched chain amino acids. You're eating protein, or you're eating things that contain creatine in them, unless, again, you are like a bodybuilder.
Right. And then, for example, some foods that have branched chain amino acids would be lentils, chickpeas, brown rice, almonds. So, a great post-workout. I mean, I love a good lentil bowl, like lentils with some brown rice, throw in some fermented veggies or some sweet potato and some shredded spinach and romaine, the nice cashew dressing or sesame dressing. You're not just getting those branched chain amino acids and those important proteins, you're also getting those complex carbohydrates, the phytonutrients to help repair some of that oxidative damage. It's much more than just like, I got to build muscle. It's like you also have to repair DNA. You also make sure your nucleotides in the DNA aren't getting damaged and misinterpreted. You have to make sure that other tissue around there, again, calcium and your electrolytes are important for your muscle maintenance and growth. So like there's so much more. And this is where whole plant foods are synergistic. They're going to give you a lot more than just protein, fat, carbohydrates, right? It's much more than that. So
if you find that you're extremely sore post-workout, that you have to take a few days off after your workouts, one, you make sure you're hydrating well so you can wash out some of that lactic acid that your muscles have released. Two, make sure that you're eating something, again, within that 30 to 60 minute window, optimally closer to that 30 minutes, and have something with protein and with carbohydrates. So that would be my recommendation post-workout.
Okay. Cool. So we have another question here, or I see one there too. Which one do you want to go with?
Yeah, let's keep going with some of these from our group.
Okay, so from our group, kids supplements. I have almost 4 and 6-year-old daughters. I'm struggling to encourage them to eat veggies. Currently, they don't take any supplements. In the past, they had multivitamin gummy, but they were full of sugar. Do you think I should give them some supplements? Any products or supplements to increase their veggie intake in their diet? Great question.
Yeah.
Big time question there.
So again, I'm always going to default back to they're a supplement, they're not a replacement. So even if you can get this same amount of vitamin C in a supplement, or similar, you get a supplement with antioxidants, you're not replacing the fiber, you're not replacing the benefits that come with the sensory experience with food, of chewing food, digesting food, the enzymes that are released to help with that, how important that is developmentally. So we do give our daughter a supplement every day. She does take a multivitamin because she's plant-based and it has B12 and vitamin D in it. She also takes a calcium chew because we don't tend to buy fortified milks. So we make sure that we're giving it to her in a calcium chew and calcium foods. And she takes an omega-3. So she takes a couple little kids' vitamins. But we never, ever, ever see that as a replacement for her eating veggies. It's, it can be helpful. It's a compliment, but I would highly recommend continuing to encourage you to work on the behavior with your children, modeling the behavior yourself. I had a patient this week who we were talking about it. She's providing all the options. She's eating them. Her husband's eating them. Her son's eating them. Her daughter will not eat them. She even sees some foods coming and just says, no, thank you. She won't even try them. So she and I teased out, I think it's more of a sensory issue. And I feel like occupational therapy could be really helpful. So if you do see just the sight of food, the smell of food for your kids causes them to have a meltdown, even sitting at the table causes them to have a meltdown, you might consider at that point doing some sensory therapy, some occupational therapy to just kind of desensitize that and to do that exposure therapy for them. But the best way to get your kids to eat fruits and vegetables is to just offer the fruits and vegetables, make sure they're seeing them, make sure that they see you eating them, and just offer them without forcing them so it doesn't become an unhealthy relationship with them.
And again, we do recommend supplements for kids, but it does not replace that food. So again, that's so important what Dahlia mentioned, continuing to offer those foods. Food is the foundation. Something to add, foods are where we get basically a replenishment of microbes in our body as well. So fresh foods, even some lightly cooked foods, the microbes will still be in that tissue. You are still going to get a microbial benefit from fresh whole foods as well.
And there's a very popular company, I'm not going to name it, but I've had so many of their reps reach out to me. I've had so many people ask me about it because they claim to replace. They claim to have the nutrition
Red flag.
of, this has 5 servings of vegetables in it. No, it doesn't. That gummy does not have 5 servings of vegetables in it. This is not the Jetsons. They haven't, figured out that science to give you a food replacement pill. It misses so many of those benefits of actually eating them. So sure, if you want to make sure, again, they're not becoming deficient in B12 and vitamin D and omega-3 and calcium because their intake of those is poor, or because they're plant-based and we just know those things aren't necessarily being consumed on a regular basis, sure, give them those basics. If I said, if you're a family like us, we're not really buying calcium fortified milks, we make sure to give her that calcium elsewhere. But we do also really, really, really promote practicing eating the foods, the fruits and vegetables. These supplements will not replace the benefits of them.
If you're watching this later, you can comment down below, or if you're watching this now, if you do want to know what some of the supplements we give to our 7.5-year-olds or some of our supplement recommendations, we'd be more than happy to share that. There may be also a link below. We do use for our practice FullScript. We do like certain supplement companies. For example, we'll shout out Complement, which is a plant-based supplement company that is excellent, and they third-party test quality ingredients, organic ingredients, you name it, even compostable packaging or glass packaging we always look for, which is excellent. And so there are some really, really great supplement companies out there. And again, they're complements to healthy things you're already doing, not replacements. So that is very, very important. Yes. On that topic, that was from our group. So great questions from our group. Thank you, our Good Gut members. Oh, we do have more? Okay, let's go with
one of these that we have here.
All right, so we have more, but this one's good. And this one, so let's call them out a little bit. What about Purium? And do you want to go? I mean, overall, I think Purium is okay. Like their supplements are. I haven't looked. I mean, I think they're higher in quality the last time I checked, at least. So I have to probably check again. But I believe they are testing for quality. Their ingredients are fairly clean, like they're not using a bunch of fillers.
And they can provide certificate of analyses. So it's a better option. Again, I struggle with Purium because of the way that they've set up their business structure. It is kind of a multi-level marketing and MLM. So I've struggled with that. I've had some people who come to me and they're like, I was told that all I need is these 12 Purium supplements, and then that's all I need, and I'm getting all the nutrition that I need. And so that's where I, as a dietitian, struggle with supporting companies like that when they're falsely claiming that these things can be sufficient replacements for food, and that people, in order to have their best health, they need to take 13 supplements a day. So it's a better quality. But I don't know that I agree with the ethics of the company.
It's hard. And with that, like, we don't want to be hypocrites here. We do recommend supplements. We are partnered with certain companies. And
I do take supplements every day.
And we do take supplements. So again, the difference here, just to clarify, is that yes, we made a supplement. We made Gut Nurture, okay? And when this is with Complement, we formulated this. And so we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, we don't buy this, and we don't promote supplements. We do. The difference being, we're healthcare professionals, and that we would be recommending this. We do see, again, deficiencies. We do see needs in our clients. So in recommending that, yeah, sure, use our code. Here's our full script, and it makes sense. It is not the sole thing we do. So I think the difference is an MLM company is really selling the idea of like, you're a stay-at-home mom and want to make extra money. You want to work from home. You want a whole new business that's just centered around selling supplements, which okay, but then it's really easy to fall into the trap of like, I need to sell more and more supplements. You need supplements. You need supplements. You need supplements.
Your dog needs supplements.
And now you're not really coming from a healthcare background, or I should say specifically a dietetics background, to know the interactions, to know the medications, to know what's going on in terms of that particular person's medical history and what they actually need. It is your business model to sell as many supplements as possible so you can make a living. There's nothing wrong with making a living and making money, but when it's your entire model and to then
And if
bring
you can't
people
provide,
underneath you
yeah.
to keep selling and selling and hit the goals, because we all know in MLM companies, there's goals. You win bonuses, you win special trips and special things. So you're incentivized to keep selling and keep people consuming supplements that they may not need, no matter how great quality they are. And at the end of the day, a majority of your nutrition can come from food, and supplements can be there to complement, but they're not, if you find yourself spending hundreds, or we know patients who spend thousands a month on supplements, you kind of have to reassess, and we challenge everyone to dig deeper and kind of go, what is really going on here? What, not just with the company or wherever you're buying them from, but with your own health. Like, do I really need to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars a month on supplements? Like, what is going on with my health? What do I need here? And kind of go from there. But yeah,
that's our 2 cents on that. So, and whether you're buying it because you recognize, hey, you know what? They're high quality, they're third-party testing. I feel really great taking it. Again, see what are the benefits of when you take it versus when you don't. Is it working for me? Get your blood work done. If it's not working for me, why isn't it working for me? And then go from there, because you all are individual. So, like I said, I take supplements every single day. I've been plant-based for 12 years. So every day I take my vitamin D, my omega-3, I take B12, and I take a couple of other antioxidant things on top of that just to complement my antioxidants that I eat. That being said, I know that I have a genetic mutation where I don't activate B vitamins. Despite taking B12 at least 5 or 6 days a week, my B12 levels were still suboptimal. I take it every day. And I've tried different forms. So for me, I know, like, I get B vitamin injections now where I'm like, okay, my body is not necessarily absorbing the most. I have a unique genetic predisposition. So if I wasn't getting my labs done, again, I would just think, well, I just need more and more and more supplements. That's not always going to take you there. So if somebody in an MLM can't answer those questions for you, if you're like, I actually feel more tired, I feel more bloated, you know what? The days where I skip my supplements, I feel better, and they can't tell you why that is. That might not be the person to buy your supplements from, or ask someone who knows if you do want to continue buying supplements for that place. And, regarding buying supplements, you also want to make sure that you are buying them from a manufacturer or an approved seller. So some of the companies that formulate nutraceuticals or supplements, some of them will say our products cannot be sold on Amazon, or they cannot be sold outside of a practitioner recommending them. There are a couple high quality companies like Metagenics, Orthomolecular. Yes, they are supplement companies. So, they do make money off their supplements, but they conduct a lot of research on the supplements that they do provide. And they do things like check Amazon to make sure their stuff isn't being sold by third-party testers. This is for many reasons.
Third-party vendors.
Yes. So if you are buying something on Amazon from another vendor, it could be counterfeit, it could be expired, or you could be taking doses that are not appropriate for you. So I don't recommend going on Amazon and buying supplements unless you're buying directly from the vendor. So if that company is selling you their own product, then again, if you have an issue with it, you can take it up with the company. If you're buying from just a third-party random vendor, there's no one there to help you with that. So again, if you want to understand what's the quality of the supplement, is it a therapeutic dose that I'm taking? You want to consider that almost like a medication. You're not going to just take medication without supervision and somebody to go to if something goes wrong, and for someone to check how often you need that medication. Consider some of the supplements the same. So it can be really overwhelming to do all this on your own. Hopefully you have someone on your care team who's helping you with this, just because so many people are taking supplements.
Yes. Lots of info, guys. Take a deep breath. I know supplements can be, or
we did have another question or comment rather, of reading the ingredients to ensure that there are no fillers or anything else that's causing symptoms. I have had this happen with a lot of my patients. So I've had my, my SIBO IBS patients. Maybe they're taking something that has a filler in it or a flavoring in it that's high FODMAP. And if they're sensitive to FODMAPs, maybe we've identified that it's polyols and they're sensitive to things like sorbitol and maltolol, and their sorbitol added to their supplement, and they're taking it every day and having a stomach ache every day. Sometimes we figure that out of, oh, it was something in your supplement that you were taking that caused some of these symptoms for you. So it's so important for you to check not just the nutrients that are in supplements, but also check for fillers in some of the supplements as well. So that's so, so, so important. Asking a practitioner if they can help kind of decode the ingredients if you aren't familiar with it yourself. Okay.
What do you think?
Perfect. Yeah, so with our daughter, this is another question of what we give to our daughter, because this person is plant-based. So for plant-based kids, we do recommend those basics. Just as a plant-based adult, if you are feeding your child an exclusively or a 100% plant-based diet, or predominantly or exclusively plant-based, you should be giving them B12, vitamin D, and omega-3 every day. You should be ensuring that there's iodine somewhere in their diet. So whether that's them eating seaweed very regularly,
kelp flakes,
you adding kelp flakes to their food, or you using an iodized salt, that's important as well for development, thyroid function, so much else. And then calcium. So calcium is another one that you either want to make sure your kids are getting in calcium fortified milk, calcium fortified tofu, or soy products, enough calcium in their diet. Or you could, like we're doing, we just give our daughter a little calcium chew.
Yes, very, very important. And again, if you want more details on that, you can visit marythealth.com, shoot us a contact. If you want the direct link, you can comment down below for that information.
Yes, if you did want to know, you guys can. You can go on our website, sign up. If you were like, okay, I want to make sure that the supplements I'm using for my family are high quality. We have a couple different options. So like we said, we love Complement. Complement is a company that we use ourselves and we recommend to our patients. And Complement, it caters to those who are plant-based. So they make their essentials with these things, the things that I just mentioned in it. So Complement is one who we really support and endorse. Or we do also utilize Full Script. So if you want, you can go on our website, sign up for our Full Script account. And again, those are all third-party tested or therapeutic grade or high quality supplements. So if you just wanted to upgrade the quality of what you're taking, those are options. So something to consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your guys' comment. And then right here, I see someone commenting, right there, Emporium Pure is actually their own manufacturer. So double check, manufacturing a supplement, great. But if you mean that they're their own now ingredient and vendor, right? So they vertically integrated, or if Purium is able to source their own ingredients, process their own ingredients, manufacture their own supplements, and then sell the supplements, like they're fully vertically integrated. Was not aware of that. It's something I can definitely look into. But if you're saying that they're just manufacturing, typically they're using a third party source or vendor. It's usually, there's some big names out there, but they're sourcing the ingredients, testing the ingredients, or helping to test, or the company like Purium is paying them to properly test, and then sourcing from their list of ingredients to then formulate and manufacture their own supplement, which they sell. So very important there. Very rarely does a supplement company do everything like vertically, like they're in control of everything from like growing and sourcing to the end product. I don't know of any supplement company that does that. I'm sure they're out there. Maybe they do.
There have been like spirulina companies where it's live spirulina. They're growing it, they're packaging it, they're selling it, and it's that one ingredient. So, I think that's cool. And if they are able to do that, that's great. Like we said, they have higher quality. I think for us, it's just the business model that has kind of, in our experience, given us some questions to think about.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, and that's why, like we said, we choose to support companies who are mission driven, value driven. So, if their mission, their value is to help people improve and enhance their lifestyle habits, wonderful. We are all about that. Like we said, that's why we worked with Complement and we formulated Gut Nurture. So as a dietitian and somebody who's been thoroughly trained in integrative and even functional nutrition, I've taken my almost 10 years of being an RD and really thought about what I could have used when I myself was experiencing gut issues on a daily basis. I thought about, what am I recommending to my patients separately? So I was recommending, hey, you're deficient in B vitamins that are really important to your motility. You're having this stinky sulfury smelling gas. Let's make sure that we help you process that a little bit. Let's have you take a prebiotic fiber to feed your good guys in your gut. Let's get some antioxidants in you. So I took all those things. I want you to eat more ginger because it's great antioxidant. So with that, I took all those things and I said, okay, how can I put that in one available complement? So they're still doing all the lifestyle things that we recommend: great nutrition, movement, sleep, stress reduction, community. And then if this is a great complement to that, wonderful. So it's a powder. I wanted it to be in a powder form so that way people aren't taking more pills. And it's something that's highly absorbable, highly digestible. And it's something that can just be added to the food that they're already eating or the drinks that they're drinking. So it's something that can be added to water. It's something that can be added to oatmeal or, consumed in those different ways. So let us know if you guys have any questions about Gut Nurture. We're excited. It's something that we've started using in our house and we've recommended to our patients. And we've gotten really great feedback. I had a patient say, I recently had COVID and my symptoms were intense. And she said nausea was one of her greatest symptoms. And she said Gut Nurture was the only thing that took away the nausea. She was taking vitamin B6, which is evidence-based for nausea. She was drinking ginger tea as well. She was eating ginger. And she said just the concentrated ingredients, that was the only thing that took away her nausea. I've had patients who have said that they notice that they're less bloated when they take it. They don't have the stinky gas. So I was recommending these things separately anyways, so it was nice to be able to just put them together so they have that synergistic effect.
Totally. I love it. All right, everybody. How are you feeling? I think I'm seeing that was a lot of great questions. Perfect. We love it, guys. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful dietitian talk. We're very excited for a lot of great things coming down the line. If you aren't already, make sure to sign up for our email just so you can be updated on things we're working on, things coming out in the future. Again, we didn't take this lightly, partnering with a supplement company and doing this. Again, we really wanted to put our experience and our efforts and just our love into this. And we're just based on the thousands of patients we've seen and their feedback and what they need. And again, this isn't the end all be all. This is the only gut supplement you need. No, there's lots of great things in other supplement companies like humic and fulvic acid and all these other great elements. And again, this is just one piece of the puzzle. Just like a dietitian is one member of the team, there's other members of the healthcare team. That's true for just your lifestyle. Again, complements or powders or different things, whether it's from your garden and their herbs or you're buying it from a great company, they're pieces of the puzzle and they all kind of fit together into your lifestyle, your unique individualized healthcare plan. So we hope you consider that and take an integrated approach to that and enjoy the journey in this, enjoy the consciousness, enjoy the growth and the just health that you have. Because again, our tagline, guys, our mantra is heal with each meal.
Not heal with each supplement.
Not heal with each supplement. We're all about the food. We're all about the lifestyle. We're all about just this healthy foundation. So we definitely want you guys to heal with each meal.
Yes, but we do recognize sometimes you want a little complement to that. And sometimes in certain scenarios, you need a little bit extra. So we hope this was informative for you guys.
Yep.
Please comment if you have questions. If you're watching this later on YouTube, comment or Facebook. Let us know what you think and let us know what your experiences have been. Are you somebody who's been hurt by supplements? I've had those patients, you guys. I was sharing with my team earlier. I have had patients who have said, I went to the hospital with near liver or kidney failure because of different herbs. So that's where I was getting back to. Make sure your supplements are tested. The 3 or 4 patients that I've had that's happened with, they were all either taking herbs recommended by a acupuncturist in Chinese medicine, and they were herbs that were being sourced directly from China, or it was like an Ayurvedic herb. Again, you want to think, what type of conditions is this being grown under? If it's coming from India, if it's coming from China, or if it's coming from an area that's very polluted, you're getting a concentrated dose of that. And if you're taking that several times a day. So let us know. Are you someone who's been hurt by supplements? Are you someone who's been helped by supplements? Have you changed your perspective on supplements after hearing this talk? Do you now see them more as a complement? Do you see where there might be gaps in your lifestyle if you are someone who's plant-based? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you again. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Friday. And remember to heal with each meal. Bye, everybody.
Bye.